Young man. Hij is om op die bladen, mijn broer.
Ja, we sleep here. Sometimes we sleep here. This is the place we sleep. Some of us sleep here around the corner. Put our stuff here. And sometimes steal our stuff. Sometimes we sleep here, we sleep here. See, that we do it on the street.
Guys, is it drug? We smoking is heroin.
What's an offer? What's an offer?
You know what, nigga?
Kijk hier, hij was
I'm destroying
that is a drug, heroin we smoke. We used to smoke this drug.
If we don't
Even
smoke
if we
it,
wake up, even if we go sleep, we must smoke this drug. It's like
My bro, that is a hobby for us, my bro.
if we don't have it, we get sick. That's
That's
why
why
we
we
go
have to
rob
do
and
everything
steal
with this thing, my
and
bro.
break in everywhere we come for doing this drug. You know, nigga?
See, steal our stuff. See, put our stuff here in. You can see our stuff is here.
Cape
Don't have
Town.
place to put our stuff.
Talk about Cape Town. Cape Town not a nice place. You see, we must live in the street. We must sleep in the cold. The police beat us. You see,
It chase us everywhere we go.
Sometimes people come here, we sleep, they open the tap, we must sleep in the water. That's why we get cold when we stand up. Even in the 4 o'clock in the morning, we must stand up here to go broke in by the people's cars, to steal from the people. When people stand by the shop to buy them a nice cup of coffee, we must pickpocket them wallet to survive in the street.
Even the phone.
That's why we don't care
Sometimes
about
I grab that sign,
Cape
I
Town.
run, I come here, I go sell that sign, I enjoy the money here with my friends and
That's
stuff.
why
I buy
we
clothes, I
don't
buy
care
everything.
about
You
Mother
see?
City.
Cape Town not a good place for us.
That's
Don't
why we
care
used to
about
do
us.
our track in like this life. We do it.
My name is Ryan Dalton, and people also call me Brown. It's very ironic that Cape Town is the mother city, in a sense that actually the type of mother that Cape Town is often the type of mother that the kids have experienced back at home. Any kid that you ask on the streets, pretty much any kid, they will always talk good about their mother. No matter how bad the mother's treated them, no matter what terrible things their mothers put them through, their mother is still in their heart. And the 4 words that will always strike like the biggest fights and the biggest stab wounds is your massa. But a lot of the kids' situations with their own mothers is this weird sort of relationship where they haven't always been treated that good, but yet they still have this like loyalty to their mothers. And it's the same thing I see on the streets with the mother city. The kids come into this life and the mother city invites them with open arms and is offering a home for the kids, but not treating them right and abusing them.
As a mother city, I don't think it really looks after its people. It looks after the ones with money, for sure, because the facilities in that are there. You know, the infrastructure is there, but then you pay for it. What about those of us that can't pay for it? Where do we stay? So who's going to look after me? Nobody looks after me. The city doesn't look after me. The city just chases us around anyway, because you're not allowed to sleep here, you're not allowed to sleep there, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. What can I do? I mean, I've been chased off a bench for just sitting there reading my book. Why? Because you're not allowed to sit here. Why? Because it's for tourists only. Excuse me?
The mother city for me is to find a place for the people who are sitting on the street. Then you can say it's a mother city. It's not a mother city now. Really, you must make a plan. It's not only him, lot of them. And some of them, they sick. You see how they look like. Please, man, help them.
My name is Reynolds. I've been staying here for the past 17 years. I was born 1981, the 1st of January. You see, okay, I've been living here for now 4 years, a lot of years. And what did I get out of it? I'm still on the street, you know. So if this was really a mother city, I wouldn't be here. I'll probably have a good job, you know, and a nice place to stay. You know, actually to me, people just think of themselves. You see, they don't think about another person. If this was really a mother city, Because listen to the word mother city. Oh, my bro.
Mother City, the word is a beautiful word, but I don't think this Mother City is really a Mother City because they don't care anything about us. We stay so long on the street because we struggling here for money, for work. We asking by the people, by the cars, so we standing there by the fence asking for work. Then they want to tell you a lot of things. You got crimes, you committing crimes in a lot of things.
I'm more than 20 years, here on the street. Yeah, some of us that are more than 30, 40 years on the street. Some of us die on the street. Some of us steal, some of us try to make some money and things like that. Some of us, we don't have problems, some of us have problems at home. But still, we come to live here on the street because some of us chosen maybe your own life. Some chose to be free, some chose not to have stress or whatever. People, we are history here, man. We are history here, man.
We are all over the world.
You won't get us nowhere.
Don't care about the Mother City, man.
I don't even check a Mother City because I don't see the way life used to be. People don't care about us. So why must I respect Mother City as the Mother City? Understand? That's why everything I do is hopeless. Understand, sir? Because the Mother City give me nothing.
We look dirty, we're not part of the humankind, I believe. I feel there is the difference between the rich and the poor. And a lot of people who are living on the streets are local people born in the Western Cape. You get people from overseas, they've got properties. We don't have even a small piece of property in this country. So I feel so depressed about the whole thing, and we need homes.
90% of the homeless, and I put that in inverted commas, people that I know actually do have homes. A lot of them can go home to their families. A lot of them actually own their own homes. So if you do a statistical research on the homeless people, you'll probably find that it'll reduce it down to about 10%. There's no motivation in Cape Town itself for the people to go and work. You know, why should I work? I can sleep in the streets. I can go to a shelter if the weather's lousy. There's free food around all over. The people will just dole out, and the people dole out big money. Big money. I've seen them hand over 200 Rand notes. And these guys, some of these guys pick up between 600 and 700 Rand a day. If I could earn 700 Rand a day, wow, I wouldn't be here. I'd be living in whatever hotel there is, you know.
We're actually having terrible time, and most of these people who are on the streets are sick people. So they're not getting attention from many people. A lot of people pass us. They think nothing of us. Even if you try to park a car, they chase you, they call the police. You see all these people, they're living on the street, they've been living on the streets. But people like you and me, we pass. We think nothing of these people. So what do people expect us to do? Is to commit crimes. And what happens when you commit crimes, then we're locked up. It's not that people want to commit crime, because they're forced to commit crimes by the society, by the mother city. The one you call the so-called mother city. This is not mother city. This is not a mother city. This is a devil city.
Well, first of all, I personally believe any adult that chooses street life and wants that for their life, an adult, should be allowed to live that way, as long as they also agree to go by, rules of society, that they don't just go to the toilet anywhere, that they don't whatever. But that would also mean that the city would have to work with them. If you lock the public toilets at night and things, then I don't know why you get angry when a person just goes on your doorstep.
And the clothes that I'm basically got on is, that's it. As I said, I've got 3 pairs of pants, and these are the tops, and that's it. And it's so cold, when do I get to wash my clothing, so I've kind of got to wash it and then hope that it's not going to rain or get too cold, because I've got nowhere to hang it either. So I hang it in one of the hawks so that it's safe while it's wet, but it takes 3 to 4 days to dry.
It really pisses me off the way people treat people on the streets in general, adults and children, but especially children. I know that there's rich people who have dogs that they treat better than people on the streets. The dogs wear these little clothes and they eat this nice meat and whatever, and yet they treat people on the streets like animals. I hate to say it, but people are just totally callous to the situation, and many people feel different feelings about it. So they may pull up to the robot and they may feel angry that a kid lives on the street, or sad, or angry at the kid because they think he's this horrible little child, that wants to rob them, or they may feel guilty but not know what to do. But a lot of times they don't allow those feelings or emotions translate into positive action that will lead to change. I think something needs to happen in society where people's mindsets shift.
I was born and raised in Cape Town, and I joined the Navy in 1976, and I got 20 years experience there. I reached the top, management, senior level. Got a lot of supervisory, a lot of admin management experience. I left there and I moved to Joburg almost 10 years ago now. Okay, and I came back 3 years ago, and 8 months after I got back here, the company closed. So I was been without a job. So I'm celebrating my 2nd anniversary this month of being unemployed. I've been looking for work for 2 years, and I've been applying for jobs all over the countryside for 2 years. And even though I apply, I get no response. It's the employment laws in the country at the moment, and it's been inferred to me by employment agencies and that I'm the wrong color, wrong gender, and the wrong side of 50. But God knows what He's doing. He's going to give me a job somewhere, somehow, and He knows what He's doing, and that's all I can do is just trust in Him and have faith. I don't earn wages. I don't earn money. I work at the flower market here, and all she does is she gives us 10 rand a day just for cigarettes or whatever, But I get fed. I get fed every day. God just somehow provides in His own wonderful supernatural way. There have been a couple of times where I've actually needed, for example, toiletries, and I don't have the money, and I've been praying, and I just don't have toothpaste, and I haven't had toothpaste for 10 days. How do I clean my teeth, And I try and pluck up the courage to beg, and I can't do it. I just can't do it. I get people walking past that will give me a sandwich just out of nowhere. I had somebody walk past yesterday and said, I got my pay today and I'm going to give you some money, and then gave me 100 rand. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. That's how we survive. That's how I survive. And as I said, God provides, and He does.
When I came here for the first time, I was only 18 years old, come from a small town in America. I'd never seen a child living on the streets before. So the first time I saw a kid digging through a rubbish bin looking for food, I was like, what is going on? And I walked up to him and I was like, excuse me, did you lose something in there? Like, what are you looking for? He's like, I'm looking for food. And I was like, oh gosh, can I buy you something to eat? And he was like, yeah, sure. So we sat and got some pies and ate together and chatted. everything I heard was just totally foreign to me about children literally living on the streets and surviving there. And it was like shocking to me. And so I sort of became very curious and interested in this lifestyle and this subculture that I'd never seen before. And so every chance I got during that first 3 months I was here, I would go to the streets and hang out with the guys. And I can say that in that sense, I was inspired by them to see change come in a situation that I feel is unjust.
My name is Andile Africa Apollos. I live in Samora Machel, in a community out of Cape Town, and I work with youth development organizations, which is now I'm basically involved in one of them, which is called Young in Prison. I work in prison, educating young people through music, and also we actually give the young people there a platform where they can express themselves. I was young, and when I came on the streets, there were guys who's been on the streets, and these guys have been in prison and out of prison. And when you kind of like, standing in the robots and begging for your money, and then the minute you just leaving the robots and they kind of catch you, take your money, take your blankets, take whatever you have, and then it's kind of like painful, man, because you're like, hey, and you even think if I was big enough, I would have like kind of did something or reacted back,
I'm Sifiso Jezile, also known as Earthborn is my stage name in the hip hop scene. Basically, I'm a project coordinator at the My Life Projects. I'm also one of the founders of the My Life Project as a whole. I'm also busy hosting hip-hop shows in the townships, and recently, just before the World Cup, I started a project called Street Ball, which is using football and music, to actually make a change or create change in the townships. I was, looking for something better. I'll even go to someone's house and I'll just knock at the door, and ask for a place to sleep, because I knew that I don't want to sleep on the street. It's just that the situation that leads me to the street. That's why, those are one of the moments where I knew that I have a dream and I have hope to actually be someone better in the future. So the shelters was a place for me to hide out and actually do a little bit of education when I was in the shelters, And obviously I'll get bored of the shelters and I will run back to the streets again, and you know what I mean, because there was this drug that I was also smoking, which was called Mandrex. I would smoke it whenever I wanted, so for me it was that driving me back into the street to go and smoke it and whatever. So, and I just left it. I mean, I didn't go to, it was strong will, to just say, cool, I'm done with this type of stuff. I need now to move forward.
When I hear the word Mother City, it actually reminds me of the first time when I came to Cape Town, which is like the city. Yeah, I quite felt very welcome, because obviously I met, some people who are also facing the same situation that I was facing. So I mean, eventually, I got so used to that kind of life, of having friends around who are also searching for a similar, purpose, looking, for a similar thing that I was looking for.
I decided, in protest of the fact that we allow children to live on the streets, I decided to live on the streets for the 16 days of activism. It came out of 8 years of working with the kids and seeing very little improvement in the situation, wanting society to wake up and do something about kids living on the streets. Because whether we like it or not, like a little white American dude sleeping on the streets gets attention, but a little colored or black child on the streets, everyone's callous to that. So if I could make use of my situation and raise awareness, then I was happy to try to do that. Around 2004, I started using music and media to raise awareness, and I'd use hip-hop music at a radio show, but starting to raise awareness of the issues that are happening on the streets and try to change society's mindset of the kids, trying to change society's role that they play in children living on the streets. Yeah, I really kind of moved my work from the ground to trying to make a difference on a bigger level, because each and every year I see the 16 days of activism come and go, and I'm always happy that we spend 16 days speaking out against violence towards women and children. I am happy about that. But in a society where the prevalence of violence towards women and children is so high, it's ridiculous that we only spend 16 days focusing on that.
I believe in a family unit, and there isn't a facility in South Africa that will accommodate a family as a whole unit once they get to into these kind of dire situations, you see. So basically what happens is once they start losing, and then they sell the house, they sell the car, they sell the furniture, and they get to this situation, and they take the children away, and then they dump the adults in a shelter and say, right, now you're motivated to get going. I mean, how's that going to motivate you? It doesn't motivate you. You know, from a psychological point of view, it just pushes you further down. Instead of destroying the family, help keep the family together. That's what God wants. God wants the family, and they must stay together. But this country's not doing it, unfortunately.
Hardest days, like when it's raining, you know, when you can't find food, when you're so hungry and you're starving, and you kind of beg, and the only thing you could go back to is like begging a little bit of money and kind of smoke something, you know, smoke glue or smoke petrol or smoke tinners, or maybe smoking mandrakes, just for you to forget and sleep the whole day until the next day. So what we did, we take out one cigarette, and then this is a cigarette, imagine this is a cigarette, so from the tip of the cigarette we take out all the cigarettes, and then we take the cocaine and then we put it in there, and then we kind of squeeze, and then we smoke. That's how we did it. But damn, that used to be high. That used to be high. And but then it also had like this effect, man, where you feel sleepy, nausea, you feel like vomiting. And then we used to like sleep, man. But the thing is, when you get up, you feel like that's where it's even stronger than when you were smoking it. Man, that was crazy. So I'm really glad today, you know, that, but definitely I don't know how I got off drugs, man. You know, I don't know how. The experience I've got on the street is being street smart, you know, in such a way where you get to deal with a lot of, you know, challenges, and also where you get to deal with a lot of individuals coming from different backgrounds, different cultures. From leaving home and going to the street, you know, and just being around that environment of people who actually can influence you in different ways, which could be a positive way, and also being able to learn and take from different people what works for me, you know. And I think so that kind of experience has helped me a lot, you know, to be able to survive in the years of living on the street. Okay, I would say, you know, some of my friends definitely have passed away, quite a lot of them.
I know a lot of guys who've passed away on the streets. It's quite a regular occurrence because street life tends to be quite harsh, and if it's not getting stabbed or shot, it's getting TB or AIDS or getting burned by another dude in your sleep or whatever. And then there's just like accidental things like getting hit by cars and things like that. Kids passing away on the streets is quite a common reality. I saw all this stuff that the kids go through and that even adults go through on the streets. I saw the situations they live in. I saw how angry people get when they get so hungry that they just get totally out of control and things like that. I could see all these things all these years, and I think I understand street life, and I understand that thing better than the average South African citizen. But I felt how it feels to really be in that situation and feel that like kind of overwhelming feeling like I don't know if I'll ever eat again. Like it seems like totally out of control, but like you can get to that point where it's like you're so hungry, the soup kitchen won't be open till the next morning, and your stomach is screaming, and you feel a little bit dizzy, and it's hot. It's like summer, and you're like walking, feeling like you might pass out, and you don't know where your next meal will come from. I know that there's rats in town. I've always seen the rats, but I didn't realize what a nuisance the rats are for people living on the streets. I mean, they were like my #1 enemy. Every night, they crawl all over you, they get up in your neck, they climbed up my pants the one night. And there was a point when I was living here where I looked at my life and was just sort of making comparisons to the kids here and the life here, because one of the reasons that I got on so well with the kids is I saw a lot of myself in them, and I saw that if I would have been given the opportunity to live on the streets in the way that they would, I would have definitely ended up in the exact same situation. So then I started looking at my upbringing and my society, and I looked at what kept me away from the streets. Just a common awareness that a child should be in school, and yes, kids don't like school, but that doesn't mean that they should be able to just quit school. And that education should be offered for all for free. Here we just need to focus on taking the option away from the kids. We need to get society in a place where they agree that it is child abuse to allow the kids to be on the street. And then from there, work on community initiatives that work against kids move onto the streets. And then improvement in the education systems in the areas that the kids come from, and more extracurricular activities after school and after school programs. More social support for kids that are going through rough times in the communities. I think those are all ways that we could, begin to see this problem get less. Any initiative that's done with the children living on the streets, or any children for that matter, should be done with the best interest of the children in mind. That's the last sort of statement of the rights of a child in the South African Constitution. And it's definitely not a situation that will go away if we don't actively work against it. So yeah, it'll take years and years to correct, because it took years and years to create. I think what society can do with adults on the streets is just see them as people. Don't treat them like less than people. But any person who does not want to be on the street, I think there are options for them to get off, and there are ways for them to get off, and I think they can.
And the biggest miracle in my life is God has shown me that we are brought up to be judgmental. And even though we sit back and say, well, I'm not really that, I don't judge people, but in a subconscious way, we do. And the biggest thing that he did for me was that it was always a case of, well, for me, I don't like you because you're a drug addict, and he's now separated that. So there's no more drug addicts or alcoholics floating around this world. There are wonderful people with serious problems. And if we can deal with the root cause, then that problem will disappear.
As far as a message to people on the street goes, they're people just like everyone else. And so if you ask me what message do you have for us sitting in this room, I'm sure I would have a different message for each one of you based on your individual needs and wants and desires and dreams and hopes. My message would be to any child who considers living on the street to not go there, to educate yourself, and be the very best version of you that you can be.
Definitely, I wouldn't regret some of the things that the mother city have taught me, because actually it's exactly what made me who I am today. Because maybe if I wouldn't have came here, maybe I would have been totally a different person. But definitely today, I don't regret anything that Mother City had given me.
I think this society needs people being the very best version of themselves and not settling for less. And that would be my message to everybody in society. If you can be nice and just say hi, give a smile, offer that sense of humanity to another human being, I think we can just all be adults and grow up a little bit and say, like, who cares if they harass me a little bit?
It's been a harsh road. It's been a very harsh road. But it's been a good road from a learning perspective. Learning about me and about life in general, and also just trusting in God, you know. I mean, He's brought me to this, He's going to carry me through, and I just have to trust Him. And that's what I do on a daily basis, because there's nothing else I can do.
All you can be responsible for is how you act. You can't be responsible for how others act.
When you just sit down and actually get that moment, you know, of just thinking about life, you know, why me? Why am I here? Why did this happen to me? Because you don't understand, you know. But obviously at the end of the day, it kind of hits you that everything happens for a reason. So I think that's also something that drives you to kind of find out who you are and where you want to be in the future. So if you are a person who kind of have hope, you know, in life, and see yourself not only living on the street for the rest of your life, but seeing yourself somewhere in life, you know. I mean, for me, it's also like I didn't see that as my future. You know, I had to kind of being strong mentally and physically and find ways and means of taking myself out of those situations. So I think for those years of me living on the street, it has really taught me a lot, you know, of how to face the future. Because one thing, you know, everyone is here for a purpose and everyone has dreams. So if you can realize that and really get to know yourself better and kind of see where you want to go, you know, I think that's the first start. And obviously nothing happens overnight, you know, because definitely that's one thing when you are on the street you wish for. It's like this miracle who could just happen. It's like someone would just take you and put you in a beautiful house and give you a car. But everything takes hard work, you know, everything takes one step at a time. And obviously if you need some help, there's a lot of places out there, you know, which obviously you could go and get some help. Don't give up hope, that's one thing you must never give up in life.
My strain, my escape, my train, my freedom, my power, my second, my hour, my means, my end, my strength, my friends, my glue, my high, my earth, my sky, my poverty, my wealth, my enemy, myself, my hate, my confusion, my love, my delusion, my weapon, my knife, my fight, my life. And this is my life.
It's my life, it's my life, and no one can do it for me. It's my life, it's my life.
My choices, my decisions, my mistakes and my revisions, my troubles, my solutions, my struggles, my evolution, my cure, my sorrow, my future, my tomorrow, my voice, my talk, my actions, my work, my feet, my hands, my dreams, my plans, my words, my story, my victory, my glory, my pain, my strife, my gain, my life. And this is my life.
It's my life, it's my life, and no one can do it for me. It's my life, it's my life, and I've gotta do it for me. It's my life, and no one can live it for me. It's my life. And only I can feel the pain, and it's my heart that takes the strain. Though I walk right next to you, I know I gotta walk it through. When these struggles pass me by, maybe then you won't ask why I had to walk this road alone, cause I had to do it on my own.
We've been through it all, trials, struggles, and pain. We don't count it as loss, we count it as gain. From the streets to the studio, yeah, that's how we flow. We've been waiting so long for this thing to blow. Now that we're here, let's take a step back. It's for your benefit, we put this message on the track. We want you to know we don't feel self-pity, though some points in our lives have been real gritty. We don't see ourselves as victims, we're stronger, it's true, man. We ask you to do the same, see us as human. We're not asking for something else from your hand, but